which was effective communication. You can go to our YouTube channel and find it there. With that said, the next set of workshops that we'll have after tonight with Ms. Wilson, branding and marketing, on the 21st, we'll have social media workshop. And then on the 27th, we'll have another speed networking event. And then on the 29th, we'll have finance and capital workshop. For the month of August, we'll have government and certifications and insurance for businesses. We will also be hosting a in-person network at the Wellspring Manor and Spa in Prince George's County on August 20th. And an invite will be sent out to those persons. And with that being said, our presenter tonight is Ms. Sonia Wilson. Ms. Wilson worked in the retail banking industry before joining the Archbishop Carroll faculty in 2004. She earned a BA in Mass Communications from Trinity University and an MED in Career and Technical Education from Concordia University. She is currently a teacher at Archbishop Carroll High School, where she teaches courses in law, accounting, college seminar, and entrepreneurship. She has worked on campaigns for the former Georgetown Children's House, along with their annual Georgetown Garden Tour, the Carroll Career Day event, and the Women of Carroll Mentoring Organization. If Ms. Wilson could meet anyone from the past or present, it would be John Wood, a former Microsoft executive and founder of the nonprofit organization Room to Read. Mr. Wood left a blossoming career to build libraries and donate books to kids in underserved communities. And I'm now going to turn it over to Ms. Wilson.
Thank you for joining me today, and more importantly, thank you for having me this evening. As Andrea said, that if I had an opportunity to meet someone, it would be, amongst other people, John Wood. John Wood, after hearing about his story, getting away from his office, wanted to be as far away from technology as possible, going to the mountains and finding a gentleman standing by a building with a little sign that said library, yet it only had one book. And the librarian told him, if you come back, bring us books. And with that in mind, Mr. Wood went back to Microsoft in Seattle and thought about it. He quit his job and started his nonprofit. And he and his father returned to Nepal with books that had pictures in it and words written that the people there, the young people there, could relate to. And I am in all of my courses promoting not only nonprofit, but making sure that we are inclusive, that we're a community that welcomes all and are ready to teach all. Again, thank you for having me. I wanted to show you some information about branding and marketing. I do this with my students who have not only created businesses in high school, but have gone to college and used the same business plan that they used with me for their projects in college. And I'm happy to say that in all of those instances, my students were interested in nonprofits such as tutoring those who did not have the ability to pay for services, and organic gardens. And I hope that we can continue that so that we can feed those in communities in DC that are healthy food deserts, especially during this time. Allow me to pull up my PowerPoint and I'll go through it. I tend to talk too quickly. When kids say I'm talking too fast, then it sounds like I'm being slowed down by a recorder and it gets like this. So I'm gonna try to keep it at a pitch and a speed that will not allow you to fall asleep, because I am this close to doing just that. So let's see. I can do this? Don't want to do that. Oh, okay. Mm. There we go. Let me move these things out of the way. You may not be able to see them, but they get in my way. All right. Again, we're going to be talking about branding and marketing. I don't think any of these things really are the light bulb that you have not had go off in your head often enough, but just to remind you of some key things in branding and marketing, and hopefully there's something that will come up that will spark your curiosity and you'll want to examine it even further. Let's take a look at some well-known brands and see how they got that way. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to be familiar with them. The first one is Nike and their swoosh. Well, Phil Knight, when he started Nike with his co-founder, he was a track star in college. He wanted to have an image, a picture that he could use with the brand that would catch on fairly quickly. Now, he wasn't too keen on this one, but he said, I'll use it for a little bit and see and see if it works. And guess what? It did. He paid a student, a college student by the name of Carolyn Davis, $35 to create that swoosh that has become widely known with even without the words of Nike as the clothing line and shoe line and all that is athletics. Now, this person, Carolyn Davis, worked for him for about 10 years, and he decided to give her 500 shares of Nike stock during that 10th year anniversary, which netted her over $1 million. So good deal for her. FedEx. I used to see a FedEx truck all the time, and in my neighborhood now during the pandemic, FedEx goes through all day long. What some people fail to recognize, and once they find it, then they can't take their eyes off of it. The ingenious way that they put in an arrow between the X and the E, or the E and the X, because FedEx is always on the move. How many of you knew that? One person, all right. Google. If you've ever been into a Google office, you are quite special because Google will not just let you go up to the lobby of their building, take the elevator up to their offices and walk in. You have to be invited into their offices. And this colorful image that they put out in these simple letterings is exactly how their office is. They want their employees to come in and leave at the end of the day in a really happy mood. So if you go to a Google office, you're going to see bean chairs and beanbag chairs and pool tables and tennis, what do you call that? Ping pong tables and basketball hoops, and there's food everywhere. And that's because Google believes that if you give the employees the opportunity to chill during the day, they'll be more willing to put in longer hours at the end of the day and be more productive. It's a wonderful company visually. I can't say how they are to work for, but it's quite different from anything I've ever seen, particularly in banking. And we all know Amazon. Amazon is making lots of money off of all of us. I think the man who began Amazon is worth about $112 billion now. Amazon smiles. And the reason why Amazon is smiling is because they offer everything from A to Z. Wow. You go to one place and you can buy anything that you need. And then there's that simple apple. I don't know why the company chose the apple as their symbol or why they chose the name as their company name. But the apple itself is so easy to modify that they decided, well, we'll just use the apple if we're calling the company Apple, and we'll take a bite out of it. Now, I always thought that the bite out of the apple meant that this was the entire apple, that which Apple owned in the industry, that everybody had some kind of Apple device. I know I do. And that the bite was what other companies had at this time. That's not true. The bite is there because at any point or any size that you create an image of the apple, people will always see it just as that, an apple. There's no way you can change it so it doesn't look like an apple. Your image should be an extension of your business and of the stakeholders you want to serve or wish to attract. And when you're looking at an image that is going to represent your brand, it should be something that you are extremely happy with, that you have maybe a little story behind it, and that is flexible enough to go throughout the business without much change. But aesthetics is not the only part of branding. The image is not the only part of branding. Branding also includes your mission statement. And your mission statement talks about the purpose of your company and the goals of that business that you are developing. And they must be attainable. You have to look at all of the adjectives you're using to describe your business and ask yourself, where can you delete some of those so that you're not building up something that you can't meet. It's like going out at night, a woman going out at night. Before you go out, you look in the mirror and you say, well, I should remove one thing. What should that one thing be? Should it be the huge earrings or the bold necklace or the cocktail ring you have on? One thing makes it more simpler and makes people see you and not just the outfit you're wearing. Your vision statement. Your vision statement says what your future goals of the organization are. A lot of people think that that means saying my company will grow by 50% or we will create several more products in the next 5 years. Not necessarily. Your vision statement can also include how you plan on treating your employees. And that makes a much more interesting statement to people who are looking for a business that they want to invest in than how much more you're going to grow. Because if your people are happy, your company will grow. There is one company that says, I think it's Microsoft, to have a computer in everyone's home. Simple, one sentence statement. You don't need a paragraph, you don't need a page. You need something that will set you apart from other companies, and again, that is attainable. And then of course, there's that visual that sets you apart from your competition because you do have a unique image that represents you. And one way you can do that is by getting a graphic designer to work with you, because they will know what's out there already and will help you not copy someone else's image that will get you in trouble. I always tell my students, before you create a business, you have to go through the alpha and beta testing. You start out by getting a small group of people who might be interested in what you're doing, those internal friends or associates or people you have known for a while through networking, and share your idea with them. They will give you suggestions. It's surveying saying, did you eat the cake? Was the cake moist enough on a scale of 1 to 10? Was the cake tall enough on a scale of 1 to 10? They will give you some information that you can use in creating changes in your business. And then you do some tweaking before you go into development. But you should always test not only your mission and vision statement, but your image as well. How many of you have done a SWOT for your business? A SWOT is an evaluation that companies do to, one, see if they're going to be viable in the community, and two, see how they can improve their services and their image. What sets them apart from their competition? The S is for strengths. What do you do so well over your competition? That's an internal idea that you can change easily. Weaknesses. Where do you fall short in your organization? Maybe, I'll give you an example. Last year, we did not have a French teacher, and many of our students wanted to have a French teacher at a college preparatory high school. Well, that's a weakness. And guess who can control that? We can, by hiring a French teacher. Then you have to look at the opportunities. What things are out there that you have failed to examine or try to pull into your business, change or add to your own portfolio? Opportunities are external, but that doesn't mean you can't change them. It may be more difficult, but you can. And the last is, and that should not be opportunities, that should be threats. Did another company come up with the exact same service, but they're charging a smaller fee? Are they giving bonuses to their employees? Are they going to build a shop right next to yours, but they're going to serve more items than you do? You know, are they going to have one of those bowls where you put a card in and they pick a card out and they give someone a free meal once a week? You have to look at all of these elements of your business in order to keep your business operational at its best. I have my students start out by doing a SWOT on themselves. I do it often myself. It's called reflect. We all reflect on our lives and the things we've done during the day and ask ourselves, how can we change that? What did I do good? I also have them do a SWOT on the high school, and that gives me information that I can take back to my administration, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So you want to keep in mind that every business, prior to development and after you go into, when you open up your business, you should regularly do a SWOT. And that keeps you mindful of how your business is being run. You may even have someone else do a SWOT for you about your business. So far we've looked at logos and images, vision statements, SWOTs. Now we want to take a look at the best ways to market your business. And I have to say that I am probably the least of the best people to talk about social media because I shy away from it. But you should. Your business should appear everywhere. Your business should appear wherever there is a social media platform, wherever there is a networking event, wherever there is a booth at some kind of expo. That's where you and your business should appear. LinkedIn, everybody goes to LinkedIn. And the more people you have joining your LinkedIn circle, the more people it will draw to your business. And it's a good idea, in fact, if the MP Services has a LinkedIn, that everyone on here should join them and respond or make comments about different workshops that they have or events. Everyone should have a LinkedIn page. Sorry, I was trying to get through. Okay. A website. There are so many different ways that you can create a website. You can do it in plain language using either Google sites, or you can use some of the other sites. I think one of them is Shopify or something. You can also have someone who does HTML, hypertext markup language. I like that better because then it's more difficult for someone to change the information on your site, and you have to protect yourself. When people are making comments, you want to make sure that you are the one who gives them permission or gives permission for those comments to be seen. So I prefer that old-fashioned website for particularly adults who have businesses versus students who have businesses. And Instagram. I get sent Instagram postings all the time. And I keep thinking, I'm not on Instagram. But I look at the postings and say, oh, that was interesting. You should be there too. Wherever an adult, if you're marketing towards adults, or if it's a teenager, if you're marketing toward teenagers, those social media platforms is where you will find them, and you have to get engaged. And when you do, you have to keep it updated. You cannot have something on your site that is last year or that doesn't show up. You put a picture in or video and all of a sudden it's not working. You have to make sure that someone is monitoring that site and that it's kept up to date. It's one of the reasons why I don't want one. And a press kit. A lot of people don't think of press kits for businesses. Well, your business needs all of the publicity it can get. And one way to do that is by putting together a press kit. A press kit will allow you to hand someone a packet that has your bio, maybe some of your success stories, a brochure about your business card, and anything else you think that they should have. While the internet is a brilliant place to go for information, if someone forgets what your business name is and they put in something that is slightly wrong or similar to someone else's, your business name may appear 20 minutes after they start the search. At least with the press kit, that's an entire picture of what your business is about. And you should always have a few press kits with you, and again, always update it so that you can hand them out to people when you're talking about your business. Whether you're in a restaurant, you're talking to the person across from you, and the people behind you need your service. Or you're sitting at a bar, you're talking to the person who wants to buy your drink. You got to talk to them about your business first. Get that information out there. You go to your salon, to church, or to any networking event, your card isn't enough. They need to see gloss and pictures and information, and all of that is in your press kit, media kit, information package, whatever you want to call it, you should have one. And they're very simple to put together, very simple. Oh my, we are almost done. I wanted to share with you two contacts. One is Jennifer Moran. Jen is a branding fanatic. If you go online to www, here's the chat, .achsdc, and look for the Jim Vance Media Program, Jen Moran created all of the press kits, the logos for the Jim Vance Media Program. It is a program that honors Jim Vance and has 20 students each year on scholarship learn to be part of the mass communications, journalism, photography, running the camera, everything, so that they can work in the industry when they graduate from high school. And she is the bomb. Another person is India Purrier. India is a young woman, I think India is just above 30, who left her job to start her own business. And in about a year and a half, she is growing beyond her dreams. But if you want someone to put a website together for you, she has the vision and the ear that you'll need to put something together so that it doesn't look cartoonish. Unless, of course, you want a cartoonish looking page. Depends on who you're marketing to. You have to always remember who needs this information. If kids don't need it, don't worry about what your site looks like that will attract them. If parents need it, you need something on there that will engage parents. If you're giving it to doctors, you need to have someone there who is an authority so that doctors will be able to believe the other things that you're putting on. There are lots of people who will go on websites and trust everything they see as propaganda. You can't trust most of what you hear. And you should never let that be your first source. But when you do put something on your website or in your package, in your resume, it has to be honest. It has to be, because as soon as you are uncovered or found out, that changes everyone's perspective on everything that you do. If you have not already started your business, I really suggest that one, you think about doing a SWOT for that business you might want to do. Is there so much competition out there that you are going to get drowned in the pool? Do you have something that is far different from your competition that will attract others? Keep going. What kind of resources will you need? And I know you're going to be talking with someone about government contracts, or you said something in August about government. Check out the 8A program with the federal government, Small Business Administration. The 8A program is a good program for people who are starting their own business and they need someone who will help them create the media packages, create their websites. They will let you tag along at events. And in many cases, when you want a government contract, if another company that has far more resources to provide the services gets the contract, a lot of times it will say that that company also has to have a minority portion for their contract. You could be that person. They're networking. I've been to one, I went to one where a friend of mine left with the contract because I kept going around saying, you're going to need us. Well, you're not going to need me. I didn't even work for the company. I just happened to read the material and going forward because she couldn't get into town. But she won the contract because they did need a minority-owned contract, and she fit the bill 2 different ways. She was Black and she was a woman. Look into 8A. Government wants you to be successful, particularly before you go out and look for money from banks or investors. Check 8A out first. And then when you get to the point where you don't need them, you graduate and you become a mentor to someone else. How nice is that? Does anyone have any questions? I didn't mean to go so quickly.
Yes, so Saffronia has 2 questions. The first one is, when you say do a SWOT analysis regularly, how often is regularly?
It depends on what changes are occurring in your business or where your finances are, especially where your finances are. If you find that you are struggling financially, it's great to do one then. You can see if maybe there's something you're missing out there, an opportunity you're missing. It's great to do one when you are if you have an advisory board, and a lot of businesses will have an advisory board. They may not have a board of directors, but they'll have an advisory board. And it's great to have one. Before they present to the advisory board, they will do a SWOT analysis. So they have all the answers for the advisory board. The advisory board may say, what are your plans to fix this? Or how do you plan on addressing this? Let me say something about, so as often as you feel, you're certainly not going to do one every month. The changes are not going to occur that quickly. But anytime you see a change in your finances or change in staff, or if you hear of someone else who's getting a contract and you didn't get it, that's the time for you to do a self-examination, a self-reflection. And let me say this about advisory boards. One reason an advisory board is important is because you never know who you're going to attract. You might have a lawyer on your advisory board. Who better to have when you need contracts read? You may have a writer on your advisory board. They can help you write some of those programs, and somebody's doing something, I forgot what it is, but they can help you do a lot of writing. You can have a number of people, an accountant on your board. I served on the Georgetown Children's House as a treasurer for a few years, and it kept me pretty busy. It did not pay me, but it felt good to volunteer for an organization that was helping so many children. I hope I answered your question.
You did, thank you.
Okay, there's another question. Should the press kit include your elevator speech?
No. That is something that is internal. It should not be made public. There are ways that you can, the entire press kit is your elevator speech. It is giving people in a few seconds or a few sheets of paper your entire vision, your past, your present, and your future. I love elevator pitches, but you'd have to take me to probably the 36th floor before I could finish. Andrea?
That was all the questions in the chat. Does anyone else have any questions?
If I can make a recommendation, when you're looking for graphic designers, one good source for a graphic designer is a college student. College students need money. And if you go on campus and you put a little note on one of the boards, so you know someone who goes to the school and ask them to put a note on the board, someone's going to call you and create something wonderful for you at a cost that is far less expensive than if you had a professional doing it. They want to do well because it is a part of their portfolio to show that they've done this for you. Do not forget about those who are studying now and who may be of service to you. When you're doing your mission statement, since I'll fill in a few things, don't overwhelm it with adjectives. Because if you keep putting the jewelry on, nobody knows who you really are or what your business is. Give them the facts. The truth should be enough. Do not make a lot of colorful, descriptive, use a lot of colorful, descriptive words that, puff stuff, filler words. And again, your vision statement can include what you plan to do with your, or could be what you plan to do with your employees, how they will benefit from the company, not just how the company will benefit from their services.
Okay, so where does the business statement fall in? So I know you, from the difference between the mission statement and the vision statement. So is that additional to those, the business statement?
No, we're talking about use of words.
Okay,
In
all
fact,
right,
my students had that page as the business statement, and then it's the mission and the vision statement.
okay,
So
Gotcha.
the vision statement says, in 5 years, what do I expect?
okay. Now you threw me for a minute. I'm like, oh goodness, I done missed something else. Okay, thanks for the clarification.
You're welcome. Anyone else? If you have the money, you can call local radio stations and ask that, see if you can cut a deal to do a few announcements for you. Make friends with people at WHUR. See if they'll say something about your business. I don't know if you remember a business called the Muffin Man in Maryland. Years ago, the owner of the shop used to provide breakfast for Donnie Simpson. And he talked about the Muffin Man's muffins every single day. And the Muffin Man became a household name in Maryland. Now, he not only made muffins, he also made homemade Jamaican food. He no longer has the business in Maryland. He's moved to Virginia, but just offering his service either at a discount or for free to Donnie Simpson got him free promotion. Sometimes you have to give to get. We have no other questions? Don't forget Jennifer Moran. Jennifer is not a minority, but she is excellent at what she does. India Purrier is a minority, and I've put not only her company site there, but her contact information as well. And I don't get a referral fee for them. I just love what they do. You might even call over to the school, don't say I said this, and ask the Jim Vance media program if they'd like to interview you or interview everyone with the MP services. Hey, we're a minority company. How would you like to speak to us? Talk to Dr. Cherie Ward, the program director. Just don't mention my name. She's a wonderful person. Howard grad.
Are you able to speak on some things that trip up small businesses in the early stages besides finances? Things that
Finances.
I said besides finances, because we know that's a huge hurdle, but other things that typically will, you know, keep you set back from moving ahead.
A lot of people think that if you own your own business, you can set your hours and play golf the rest of the time. Being a small business means you work whatever hours are required. And you do that until you're no longer a small business. So you have people who will even have a small shop. And they're the ones who are the front face of the shop. They're the ones who open the shop and close the shop in the evening. And if they can't do it, they may have to get someone at the last minute who is not capable of running the shop the way that they would like the shop to be run. We have to figure out how to make sure that the business is viable, even if there is, let's say, an emergency with the person who began the business. You have to cross-train people. The success of your business will depend on not just what it is you create, but who handles those creations. You do not have a 9-to-5 when you have a business. Even if it's when the end of the day comes, you have to check to see what bills have been paid. You have to make sure that there is the right food in place for the next day or the rest of the week. You have to take a look at the licenses and make sure that everyone has passed whatever exams or taken whatever classes they need to take. You have to maintain the facilities. So I think one of the things that people who create their own businesses feel like they can do is work a few hours, become millionaires, and then take a vacation. And that does not happen. It is rare. If you see someone who is in that position, it is because, one, they got their experience on the dime of other people. So let's say you wanted to be a project manager, or you want to be an architect. Well, we know to be an architect, to say you're an architect, once you get your degree, you have to actually work with a certified architectural firm for a couple of years before you can claim you are an architect. It's like going to medical school. And you work with that firm for a while and garner your reputation before you take off on your own. People will know your work. You might not have your name at the top, but they know that all the architects that work on that project included you. So I always like to tell people, starting a business is your idea. Where do you get your training? You get your training at somebody else's company. You work for someone, you save up money, you figure out what the best business is for you, and get all of your ducks in order, and then start thinking about leaving. I didn't say quit your job and leave. You have to really be willing to risk. And businesses, those people who are most successful are risk takers. But they can afford it because they did not just jump out and do it right away. They had backing. They had those finances, but they also had to commit themselves to hours that did not fit the normal schedule. Be ready to work and love what you do. I love teaching. Absolutely. Now, if you have a job for me, I'll quit tomorrow. But I absolutely love teaching. And if I had to start my own business and start my own school, at least I would be doing something that I love. Don't do it just because it will make you money. Do something you're passionate about. Andrea, did you have something?
Thank you, Ms. Wilson, and thank everyone for attending tonight. In the chat section, I have put a link for the survey for tonight's workshop. We would appreciate it, the feedback. So if you would complete the survey at the end and send it back so we can use that feedback to become better. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
God
And
bless you all. Thank you.
I hope to see everyone next week at our workshop. It will be on the 21st, and it'll be talking about social media. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Bye-bye.
See here. Thank you. I can't see.
Look at me.
There it is. Am I showing?
Should I sign off?
Yeah, that's fine. Andrea, you still on?
I'm still here. Yep.
Okay.
Can you see me?
No, I can't. I can see you now. Yes.
Okay.
I couldn't see anything. Okay, so I'm back. How did everything go?
It was good.
Good, good, good. Okay.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, I came like right at the tail end. So there were no questions.
It was a few.
Okay, still some people on. Did you guys have any questions of us?
So I can go ahead and sign off?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I just wanted to make sure no one else had
Wait a
questions.
minute, I had shared my screen now and I'm still in. All right.
There we go. Oh, they're leaving. Okay, so we must be done. Cool. All right. Well, we'll get ready
So
to-
tomorrow, can we go in like we did last time and play with it